Good morning. Welcome. I'm Dick Berger, 2009 President of the South Carolina Realtors. I'm proud to be the first ever state president from the Hilton Head Area Association of Realtors. To the legislators, press, and realtors in attendance, welcome and thank you for joining us this morning. At the start of this new legislative session, we have an aggressive agenda to undertake and lots of work to do. South Carolina's citizens and realtors are facing a myriad of challenges. Our economy is lagging behind other states in the Southeast. We're facing a staggering level of unemployment, a largely unskilled labor force, and fewer industries are moving into our state. On top of this, there's little hope for economic development. We continually rank at the bottom of our nation in education, and our roads are in the worst condition ever with less and less funding. The NIMBY, not in my backyard attitude, is prevailing and becoming infectious at the local level. The challenges we face are at a fever pitch. It's clear to South Carolina realtors that the quality of life of our citizens that they enjoy is being threatened. As realtors, it is our responsibility to preserve and promote the quality of life for all South Carolinians. It's our duty to make our state more attractive to commercial, industrial, and residential growth. This development improves the quality of life for all residents by increasing available jobs, purchasing power, diversity, and by strengthening our tax base. Stimulating the housing economy is a key component to statewide economic recovery. But how can this be accomplished? Right now, South Carolina realtors are working with members of the General Assembly to develop a housing stimulus tax package. We must act now to reinvigorate South Carolina's real estate market and restore the quality of life that our state offers. This package must include real reform for taxes that are discouraging investment. Property owners are demanding meaningful reform for real estate taxes. As realtors, we are selling more than just real property. We're selling the livability and vitality of our communities. We're selling a quality of life determined by many factors, but realtors know it boils down to 5 basic principles, the end goal of all of our legislative efforts. Building better communities. Communities flourish best when they offer a high quality of life at reasonable cost. Protecting private property owners. A strong economy depends upon preserving the right to freely own, use, and transfer real property. Disincentives to invest in real property must be addressed. Ensuring economic vitality. A strong economy with full employment for our citizens sustains vibrant communities for living and working. Providing housing opportunities. Home ownership is the cornerstone of the American dream. Every citizen has the right to safe, decent, and affordable housing near where they work, shop, and play. Preserving our environment. Realtors recognize the incredible gift that South Carolina's natural environment offers our state citizens. As we grow, it's critical that we maintain a balance between quality commercial, industrial, and residential growth while preserving our natural resources. South Carolina realtors are the moving force in improving the quality of life in South Carolina, and we look forward to working with the General Assembly to achieve our common goal of quality of life for all South Carolinians. We've got to work together to protect quality of life in our great state. We've got to do it now. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Nick Chromatus, Chief Executive Officer of the South Carolina Realtors. Thank you.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's a pleasure to be here with our friends. A strong bipartisan show of support from the House and Senate to address really an issue that is impacting our real estate industry and impacting more generally our state economy. Property tax assessments were changed in 2006. And while we were very supportive of the owner-occupied relief that was allowed by that legislation, it's time to finish the job and carry over additional relief to the other classes of property that are now being burdened and unfairly taxed under the inequities and the unintended consequences of the original property tax reform. We have worked very hard over the last 18 months trying to identify the key problems of the Property Tax Reform Act, and it really boils down to the way properties are being assessed in our state. In preparation for this session, we issued a survey last week. Some of the initial results that we got back, I think, are very telling of not just where real estate professionals and where our realtor members stand on the issue, but I think you'll see where the public stands on this issue. I think there is very strong support from the governor's office to the leadership of the House and Senate to address tax reform in a broad general sense, and the general public is reflective of that same opinion. Almost 60% of our residents believe that the South Carolina tax code needs to be reformed. We need to close some of the loopholes and address the real needs of our state in this challenging economy. We also asked if commercial property owners should receive property tax relief, or if those tax breaks should only benefit individuals, the owner-occupied properties. 55% of those surveys said that commercial property owners, 6% owners, should also be benefiting from the tax relief that was passed on in 2006. Only 33% felt that commercial property owners should be paying more than owner-occupied properties. Clearly, most South Carolinians feel that businesses are bearing too much of the current burden for property taxes. Next, we asked about our current property tax structure. And in a case where there are two identical homes side by side, should the owner who purchased their home more recently pay a higher property tax? One of the side effects of ATI, Assessable Transfer of Interest, or point of sale, as it's more commonly called. An overwhelming 77% of those surveyed felt that owners of similar homes should be paying the same amount in property taxes. This tells us that the residents of our state are not happy with the way properties are being assessed, whether it's owner-occupied or 6%, and that it's time for equality in our property tax structure. And the last statistic I want to share with you is that we asked residents if they would support changing our tax laws to assess all property taxes at the same time. Once again, our South Carolina citizens said we don't like the current system. 60% said that all properties should be reassessed at the same time, providing equity and fairness in the process. To us and the realtors across the state, the survey results are pretty clear. Our citizens need and want tax reform. They need it during this legislative session. Our homeowners are hurting. Our commercial businesses are hurting. The point of sale issue, the ATI issue, is having the effect of decreasing property values while at the same time creating barriers to transactions during an economic time when we should be doing everything we can to promote economic growth in our state. Foreclosure rates remain unacceptably high. Home prices have stayed stagnant or have fallen in many parts of the state. Our largest source of wealth, our real estate, our property, is being threatened, and businesses that are considering investments in our state are also unsure where we're headed. There are many commercial realtors here who can tell you about the hundreds of millions of dollars of investments that have gone out of state because of the ATI issue. Our housing markets, our economic development cannot tolerate the uncertainty that's being caused by our current tax assessment system. Our residents, our realtors, and business owners are speaking very loud, and what they're saying is that we need property tax relief this year, this session. As part of that effort, the South Carolina Realtors are launching their Get Real South Carolina campaign, focusing on property tax assessments, and we'll be launching public advocacy effort to this end as well.